Hey everybody, this is a video response to our friend Glasseay over there in Denmark, and he tagged us with a video about interesting stories. I think that's what it is. I've got a couple stories. I have at least three, so I'll do three probably. The first one will be a true story that I had gone through, and the other two are historical. All I think pretty weird. Weird but true. Okay, the first one is back in 2006. I had quit a job I recently had, and I was trying something else. I was trying out driving a truck, and it wasn't a trailer truck, but it was the biggest box truck you can drive without a special license. So I was driving a truck from Portland to Bangor and back every night. And that was a pretty sweet gig, really. But it's a long night, and there's nobody on the road but truckers and drunks. That's all it was. And so the second half of the night, I would usually listen to Coast to Coast radio, which I enjoyed. That's pretty interesting. But the first half of the night, I thought, well, there's nothing to do. I'm just driving and nothing going on. So I figured, well, I'll work on meditating. I can drive and meditate. It's no big deal. So I did that. That was pretty cool. And I found that if I meditated the first half of the night, I wouldn't be drowsy the next morning. But if I didn't, I would be zonking out all the time in the next morning. So I kept that up for seriously for about a week, trying that, and it was pretty cool. I would maximize my senses, basically. Whatever I see, normally we just see straight ahead or whatever, and I would try and, as the night goes on, try and expand and see as much as I could. And instead of just feeling what I feel with my hands, feel, the entire body. And the same with hearing. Can't do much with smell, but on that truck it was nasty. So anyways, I would do that, and after about a week, it would be like an hour, and I would be in a whole different zone. It was pretty cool. But the point of this story is, up here in Maine, we have a lot of deer, and this just, over the winter on the highway, it's just carnage. The deer come out, and one of these trucks hits it. It's just nothing but a red stain. It's disgusting. There's nothing left. And so I don't know what if it's normally like. I only did that one year, so it was like just carnage all winter long. It's just a mess. There'd be trailer trucks off the road in the woods, and but anyways, so after about a week of doing this straight, one night I was right in the zone. Everything was maximized, and I was observant as I could be. And all of a sudden, I come around the corner, and there's just this recent deer kill. Somebody had just before I got there, plowed this deer into just piles of guts. It was gross. But I'm in this state still, where this heightened reality, whatever. And so just a split second after that, I kind of dodged it a little bit, whatever, so I didn't want to drive straight through it. Split second after that, I see ahead of me a kind of glowing red light, like a tail light, but it wasn't a tail light, it was just one light. And it was bouncing across the road and off into the median until I couldn't see it anymore. And I swear to God, that was that deer's aura. It couldn't have been anything else. It wasn't like a four-wheeler or anything. No way. That's what it was. I haven't seen any auras since, but that was amazing. So that's story number one. So my other story is about Giles Corey, back in the Salem witch trials. Giles Corey is a pretty prominent figure, and people believe by what he did, he pretty much ended the Salem witch trials. It was crazy what was going on. These people were Puritans, and it was nuts. So, anyways, Giles Corey, he was a farmer. He owned a lot of land outside of Salem, and the trials have been going on for a while, the witch trials, and his wife Martha started questioning the whole thing, and these girls who were pointing at people swung around and said, "Hey, you're a witch." So Martha, ended up going to jail, accused of witchcraft, and of course Giles Corey, the husband, has to go and testify. At first, he testifies against her, which is interesting. But then later, I don't know if it changed of heart or what. He changes his story and says, "Well, heck no, she's not a witch. You people are crazy." So, well, that didn't fly with the finger pointers. So they swung around and said, "Hey, you're a witch too." So, guess what? They threw him in jail, probably with his wife. They were both in jail at the same time. I'm not sure if they were in the same cell together, but that would have been too cool for him, having just testified against her. Well, when it came time for for him to plead innocent or guilty, he knew from experience so far that anyone who pleaded innocent or guilty, if you pled guilty, you were going to die. And if you pled innocent, they were going to find you guilty and you were going to die. So he was like, "I'm not even going to plead." So he didn't accept the jurisdiction of the court. He didn't accept that they had jurisdiction over him, so he didn't plead. So they could not try him until he pleaded either innocent or guilty. They couldn't do it. What do? Well, they had a remedy for that. They were going to press him. It's a kind of a torture. They ended up doing it because he wouldn't change his mind. So they did it right outside the jail there in Salem. They put a big board on top of his chest while he's face up, just his chest, I believe, and they stacked weights on it, hoping to get him to plead one way or another. And he wouldn't, so he went at least 2 days. More weight being stacked, more weight being stacked. He lived for at least 2 days, and the only thing he ever said to them, according to the record, is, "More weight," because he knows either way he's going to die. He might as well die now. If he pleads, okay, then he will have been pressed, and then later found guilty and hanged. Why not just die now? So he's saying, "More weight." At the end of at least 2 days, his tongue's sticking out because there's no room in his body with all this weight on him. He's like, and supposedly the sheriff comes along with his cane and pokes it back in just a little bit before Giles Corey ended up kicking the bucket. Those people were nuts. And his wife ended up being hanged 2 days later, I believe. Yeah, this was all in 1692. Absolutely insane. But he was quite a hero, for nobody stood up against them until that time. I mean, they might have pleaded innocent or whatever, but that didn't do a damn thing. And he was the only one ever in the United States, in the history of the United States, to be pressed to death by order of a court. And it was not even a legal form of punishment. It was not legal in Massachusetts, so they were breaking the law just by doing it. But good on you, Mr. Giles Corey. Hi, little baby. Okay, the last story is again, about the Puritans back in just after the founding of Boston, Massachusetts. The Puritans were mostly Calvinists, and what that meant was, well, part of the Calvinist religion was that God determined, even before you were born, whether you were going to heaven or hell. You, all your life, you would not know until after you died. So you didn't know. So that was very stressful for those folks back then in the, I guess, early 1600s. And the founder of Boston, John Winthrop, wrote in his journal that one of his parishioners, a woman, was very upset at not knowing what her destiny was going to be after she died. It was just tormenting her endlessly. And he wrote in his journal that one day, as a solution, she actually threw her own infant child down a well just so she could know for sure that she was damned. That's outrageous. And that's how crazy religion can be. That's my last story. Okay, so if anybody else has some interesting stories, more interesting than that would be great. Probably attach it to Glasseay's video. I'm gonna put the link down below if I can manage that. Okay, very cool tag video idea. Take it easy.
Hey baby, ¿qué pasó? Thought I was your only vato.
Oh, and my name's Jason, by the way. You can call me Jason.